Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, it finally happened. After weeks of speculation, Linus Torvalds dropped the first release candidate for Linux Kernel 7.0 just hours ago. Now, if you follow the kernel mailing list, Linus has a particular sense of humor about version numbers. He was very clear, quote, "We have a new major number purely because I'm easily confused and not good with big numbers." So no, this isn't some earth-shattering rewrite of the entire kernel. But, and this is a big but for those of us in the trenches, this release is absolutely packed with changes that will directly impact system administrators, DevOps engineers, and anyone running Linux in a production environment. We're talking significant performance gains in databases, major hardware enablement for the next generation of servers, and some crucial changes to security and live patching. So today we're going to skip the surface level news and do a deep dive into what Kernel 7.0 really means for us, the SysAdmins. Alright, let's get into it. First up, let's talk about the long game. Why should a sysadmin care about a release candidate? 2 words, long-term support. Kernel 7.0 is slated to be the default kernel for Ubuntu 26.04 LTS. That means the features and changes we're seeing now are what will be powering a huge number of enterprise servers for the next 5 to 10 years. What we test and validate today becomes the bedrock of our infrastructure tomorrow. And it's not just Ubuntu. Fedora 44 is also expected to ship with 7.0. This isn't just a toy for enthusiasts. This is the future of production Linux. Okay, let's get to the good stuff, the performance. I dug through the merge window commits, and there are a few changes here that are genuinely exciting for SysAdmins. First, and for me, this is the headline, PostgreSQL performance on AMD EPYC servers. The 4NX benchmarks are already showing some very nice gains. We're talking about significant increases in transactions per second for database workloads. If you're running Postgres on AMD hardware, this kernel update could translate directly to better application performance and potentially lower infrastructure costs. That's a win. Next, storage. There are 2 big ones here. The exFAT driver got a nice boost in sequential read performance. So, if you're dealing with large media files or backups on exFAT volumes, you'll see a difference. But more importantly for enterprise NFS and storage servers, the ext4 file system has seen improvements for concurrent direct I/O writes. This helps reduce lock contention and can seriously speed up write-heavy workloads. And finally, for you security folks, Intel TSX, Transactional Synchronization Extensions, is now set to auto mode by default. This allows the kernel to intelligently enable or disable TSX based on detected vulnerabilities, giving you a better balance of performance and security without manual intervention. It's a small change, but a smart one. That's the performance breakdown for Kernel 7.0. A new kernel always means new hardware support, and 7.0 is preparing us for the next generation of servers and devices. On the CPU front, we're seeing a lot of early enablement work for hardware that isn't even out yet. There's code for Intel's future Nova Lake and Diamond Rapids processors, and more performance event metrics for AMD's Zen 6 architecture. This is the groundwork that ensures Linux is ready to run on day one when these new, more powerful servers hit the market. We're also seeing more upstreaming work for the Qualcomm Snapdragon X2. This is important because it signals a growing investment in running Linux on ARM-based laptops and workstations, which could have big implications for power efficiency and mobile computing. And in a move that will make life easier for those of us who work in mixed Mac and Linux environments, there's now official support for the Apple USB Type-C PHY. This should improve compatibility and reliability for USB-C and Thunderbolt peripherals connected to modern Mac hardware running Linux. Now let's talk about my world, security. For years, the idea of writing kernel code in anything other than C has been, well, controversial. But with Kernel 7.0, the experiment is officially over. Rust support is now a permanent, acknowledged part of the Linux kernel. The kernel is even making preparations for the upcoming Rust 1.95 toolchain. Why does this matter to a sysadmin? Memory safety. A huge percentage of security vulnerabilities, including kernel-level exploits, stem from memory management bugs in C. By enabling core kernel components to be written in Rust, the community is building a foundation for a more secure, more resilient kernel in the long run. This is a huge step forward. Speaking of security, it's also a good time to talk about how these updates affect tools like the EDR agents we rely on. A new kernel means new attack surfaces, but also new opportunities for detection. For example, the recent CVE 2026-23184 vulnerability was a use-after-free bug in the kernel's binder component. Our agents are designed to hook into the kernel to detect that kind of anomalous behavior. When a major version like 7.0 comes out, it's critical that your security vendors are testing and validating their kernel modules immediately. A kernel update is not something you can do in isolation. You have to consider the entire stack, especially your security tooling. So if you're planning to test 7.0, make sure you're talking to your EDR provider. So, what does this all mean? Linux Kernel 7.0 is more than just a version bump. It's a significant release packed with performance, hardware, and security updates that are directly relevant to system administrators. The PostgreSQL gains on AMD EPYC are real, the storage improvements are tangible, and the long-term commitment to Rust is a massive win for the security and stability of the entire ecosystem. So, what should you do? Linus himself said jokingly to drop everything, run to your computers, and test build and test boot a shiny new kernel. I wouldn't go that far for a release candidate, but I absolutely recommend you spin up a VM, compile 7.0 RC1, and start testing. Test your most critical applications, see how it performs with your specific workloads, and most importantly, check with your security and monitoring vendors to see what their support timeline looks like. The stable release is probably a couple of months away, but the work we do now helps ensure a smooth, stable, and secure rollout when it finally lands in our production environments. What are your thoughts on Kernel 7.0? Are there any features you're particularly excited about? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.